Alright, so listen. Blake Lively is panicked following her co-star Adam on Shine has revealed her on-set secrets.
Can't watch her anymore because it's impossible to separate what is the actions of this person. And that's why I say I feel sorry for her from an honest place.
We're still early days in the transformation of her into the monster that she became.
Adam has been a tight friend of Justin for 20 years, and Justy sat down to support him by offering evidence of what actually happened when the filming stopped rolling on It Ends With Us film set.
Her reputation, even through her own words, is very much kind of steal ownership of the projects that she's working.
To see how far this went, y'all need to check how Blake's team distorted harmless, innocent moments into sinister weapons. And one of the most shocking examples of this is the story of the $20 bill. During the production of the movie, Blake experienced a tragedy. Her father had recently passed away. Justin wanted to offer her some comfort. He approached her softly and offered a spiritual prayer for the soul of her father. He was just trying to be her friend and show her compassion in a really difficult time. But Blake Lively's response was ice cold. Instead of accepting the kindness, she replied with a pointless joke, saying, "Tell him he owes me $20.
So he says, I prayed for your dad and had a little talk, in his memory last night and just wanted her to know. And she says to him, tell him he owes me $20.
It's clear she was ridiculing his spiritual nature, but Justin did not get angry. He tried to meet her where she was and tried to speak her language of dark humor to build a bond. Later on, he walked up to her and handed her a physical $20 bill. It was his way of saying, let's be friends. Nothing strange, just funny banter. But here's where things get complicated. When Blake and Ryan decided to take on Justin, they took that $20 bill and distorted it for their own benefit. Both of them took a spiritual man's attempt to bond over a fatherly loss and distorted it into a list of grievances. They made it sound like Justin was being inappropriate about her dad. They used his own empathy as a weapon to stab him in the back. And the worst part, they almost got away with it.
Weaponizing it. And Ryan Reynolds is in your face going, what kind of person talks about a dead dad? Like, how dare?
Now, of all the falsehoods told during the smear effort, the most damaging ones were about the hospital delivery sequence. Blake alleged that during the filming of a particular scene, she was placed in an unsafe environment. She even claimed that the actor playing the doctor role was a creepy backstage friend who was looking at her in the inappropriate way. If this story were true, it would be a massive scandal. But the facts provided by Adam Shine, the actual actor in the room, prove that every single word of her story was complete and total fiction. Adam did not just deny it. He proved that her claims were completely absurd.
Weaponizing this, well, maybe we don't come back and finish the movie unless you come and do all of the things that we've created this list, need to make sure happen and give her more power.
Yet let's examine at the man she labeled a creepy frat boy, and he is none other than the guy who is revealing her lies. In her lawsuit, Blake described the casting of Adam as humiliating, claiming it was a role that should have gone to a local actor. She even claimed that he made her uneasy while filming a particular delivery scene in hospital. Well, Adam Shine is not some random acquaintance pulled off the street by Justin Baldoni. He is a highly trained, deeply respected Shakespearean actor. He has devoted his life to the serious craft of acting. Portraying him as a frat boy was a dirty tactic to make him appear unprofessional. Matter of fact, the entire incident about the hospital room was also disproved by Adam.
Layers and layers, but in reality, a small piece of fabric, if we're defining clothing as small pieces of fabric. Everything you see here on the screen that you were just showing was orchestrated and choreographed with her involved in the
The actual reality of the costumes makes her claim of being exposed totally impossible. Blake was not sitting there under a small piece of fabric. The footage evidence shows she was wearing a massive custom-made prosthetic belly. This fake belly cost between $25,000 and $50,000 to make. It was huge, and it was heavily wrapped and strapped tight over her entire torso. Over this giant prosthetic, she was wearing thick, heavy hospital gowns. And under it all, she was wearing thick black bicycle shorts. The idea that she was not comfortable with her dress. Well, the math does not work.
You can see the hospital gown is completely covering her. You don't know what's underneath that. That's not her belly. You see her legs. What you don't see are the black bicycle shorts that she's wearing.
Adam further described the precise physical distancing of the camera sequence. He entirely disproved her claim that the set was a dangerous workplace. A Hollywood film is not a free-for-all. These are highly skilled professionals who operate a tightly controlled set, particularly during sensitive scenes. Nobody was permitted in who did not absolutely have to be there.
It's impossible to understand her comments because the set is a closed space. There aren't strangers walking through. There isn't like a family on tour taking pictures, wandering through.
Blake's team attempted to allege that the multi-millionaire studio backer, Steve Sawitz, was standing in the room to pressure her. But Adam states Steve Sawitz was not even present in the room during the shoot.
Steve Sarowitz wasn't even there until later in the day. We talk about how he missed the scene, and I give him shit for.
When her allegations about the set did not work, Blake Lively's team tried to exploit private footage. And I need you to understand precisely how far they were willing to go. During the legal discovery process, lawyers can request for documents that pertain to this case. But Blake's high-priced legal team running their $30 million machine employed this process to demand something that had no business being remotely near a court case.
Me and his wife Natasha to have their birth video weaponized.
Producer Jamie Heath, the same man who had to step in and rescue Justin from Ryan at the penthouse, and his wife Natasha had recently had a baby. They held a private video of Natasha giving birth in an underwater home birth setup. This video had absolutely nothing to do with Blake, but Blake's team used the power of the federal court to try and compel Jamie Heath to hand over the footage and put it into evidence in a lawsuit that had nothing to do with this matter. Adam Shine expressed complete disgust over this tactic, and I share that same feeling as we all realize. Their goal was to punish Jamie Heath for standing up against them in the penthouse. They wanted to humiliate him and his wife to show that no one was safe, not even the wives of the crew members.
Blake had just had a baby. Natasha and Jamie had their child. Like, you think you're offering friendship, trust, and then it's being thrown in your face.
This whole situation did not start with allegations or unlawful threats. It started with kindness. It started with sweetness. And in the analysis of human behavior, it is called love bombing. When filming on the It Ends With Us set began, Blake Lively showered Justin Baldoni with intense professional love and grand promises. She dangled her massive industry power in front of him, promising that together they would make something magical. But still, Justin was somewhat insecure, and things began to change the exact second he tried to do his real job. The moment he showed his creative vision as the director of the film, the love bombing stopped immediately, which is something that Adam called out by dropping details on her on-set persona.
Lives in front of the camera. Everything she does is for the camera, and she is very good while the cameras are on.
Currently, there were several rumors on the web that this dispute began because of Blake Lively's interest towards Justin Baldwin. I suppose perhaps Blake fell for Justin, or maybe envy from Ryan drove the conflict. Yet, Adam stated it evident that there was entirely zero affection, electricity, or attraction from Justin's end.
Is there a secret love affair between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni?
No, there was not. There couldn't be, because once you meet Emily Baldoni, Justin's wife is one of the most amazing women, one of the most amazing people.
Justin is a man who is totally and completely devoted to his wife, Emily. He is not the kind of guy who is looking around for something on the side. That is not who he is. What I believe is that this fight was about rejection. It was about power. Blake Lively pushed herself in as a self-inserted producer. She was the most influential person in the room, and she used that power to lock the director out of his own movie. But here's where it gets really ugly. The coldness on set was bad. And what was happening behind Justin's back was even worse. During the legal discovery process, private text messages were unsealed and brought into the light. These texts showed the true reality of how the Hollywood elite treat people they view as inferior to them.
That's why I feel like her texts are so revealing that we see when she's so mean. She's saying things like he's a clown and a doofus and she had to do it all and she had to direct this.
So, Justin is a man who poured his soul into making a movie about a serious topic. A deeply serious subject that affects millions of people. He was trying to protect the artistic integrity of the story. He was trying to make something that would actually help people. And in response, the main actress and her billionaire music star friend sat in their high towers and laughed at him like secondary school students. This high-profile backstabbing shows exactly why Justin felt so isolated. He was fighting a war on two fronts. The cold behavior on the actual movie set and the secret mean girl text chains happening behind closed doors. Blake Lively did not respect him as a filmmaker and only saw him as an obstacle to be mocked and moved out of the way.
Said, he's a dummy, and I had to do everything. So, okay, that's really, through her own words, that she tried to get deleted. Later, we find out. That's how she...
The lies did not stop at spiritual prayers and distorted jokes about her father's passing. They moved on to the physical safety of the actors. There was a scene in the script where Justin's character had to physically lift Blake up into the air. Anyone who has ever had a poor back knows that lifting another human being is a major risk. If you lift wrong, your back goes out. The movie shuts down, and people lose their roles. It is a serious safety concern. To make sure he could do the scene securely, Justin went to their mutual fitness trainer and inquired him how much Blake weighed. He needed to know the weight, so he could prepare his muscles and safely, securely lift her on camera without throwing his back out and dropping her to the floor. But Ryan Reynolds saw an opportunity. He took this basic safety inquiry and completely distorted it into something else. He planted the story that Justin was engaging in fat shaming. Ryan pushed the narrative that Justin was being disrespectful towards Blake about her physique.
Weaponize that later into but he has injuries. He needs to know how much he literally needs to lift up off the ground so he can work out and feel safe to do that in a scene and repeat it if they need to repeat it. But now it's how dare you in your face.
But here is what I need you to understand. Ryan completely manufactured a crisis out of thin air. He used highly sensitive hot-button cultural issues like body shaming and other weight struggles to turn the audience against a man who was just trying to protect his own back. Ryan knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the internet would go against a man accused of fat shaming. And for a while, his plan almost worked. The whole issue finally boiled over and left the movie set, moving into Blake and Ryan's multi-million-dollar penthouse. The place is so grand and filled with so many A-list celebrities that Blake refers to it as Buckingham Palace. That is what she calls her own home. Buckingham Palace, like she is royalty or something. Anyway, this penthouse became the dark stage for a notorious production ambush that honestly sounds like something out of a mafia movie. It is that intense because Justin was summoned under the fake excuse of having a normal production meeting. But when he walked through the doors of Buckingham Palace, Ryan was waiting for him. Now remember, Ryan, who is not the director and not a producer on the film, took total command of the room. He was not supposed to be there making decisions about the movie, but he got right in Justin's face and screamed directly in his face.
Justin told me kind of the story of what happened, and Ryan Reynolds was just outraged and in his face, leaving no space for response.
Justin was entirely alone. Even though he was surrounded by other people, including Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman, they both did nothing. The situation became so bad, and Ryan was so out of order that producer Jamie Heath had to step in. Heath had to put himself in the middle of the yelling match to defuse the situation and rescue Justin from the ambush. Well, it makes me more sad thinking that they invited a decent man to their home just to insult him. Ryan decided to take his anger and air it to the whole world. He abused his creative channel to mock Justin Baldoni on a level that millions of people would see. In the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, Ryan introduced a specific character called Nice Bull. And Adam Shine labels this character as a jab directly aimed at Justin. And we all know why.
It was pretty clear, the man bun, the feminist stuff. It's like to bully someone on an artistic level. To say it's the chutzpah that takes to then waste your creativity to be...
The character of Nice Bull was styled with a long man bun. Anyone who knows Justin knows that he widely known wore a man bun for years. It was his signature look. In the movie, the character literally says, I identify as a feminist. This is a direct jab on Justin's real-life advocacy work. Justin runs the Man Enough platform, which is dedicated to talking about healthy masculinity, feminism, and ending domestic violence. He is actually out there doing real work to help people. But Ryan decided to make fun of that work in a billion-dollar superhero movie. He used the whole thing as his own personal diary to make fun of a man his wife was trying to destroy in court. He used the endless resources of Disney and Marvel to mock Justin in front of the world. It shows a staggering lack of class, and it proves that the label Adam used is completely accurate.
Less to lose career-wise, because I'm not out there with some of these other actors who have a lot to lose with the idea of Ryan Reynolds is whispering in people's ears, don't work with that person. Like, that's scary.
While Ryan was mocking Justin in cinemas, the legal war was raging in the backdrop. And this is where the panic truly began for Blake. It is estimated that Blake's side spent $30 million on high-level legal fees. This amount of funds is not spent to simply find the truth. Adam states that this was clearly an attempt to directly make Justin quiet.
I personally feel like that was their goal, was the fear of how much money that would take. For a normal person, there's no world in which you could survive.
Wayfair Studios is an independent company. Blake and Ryan are almost billionaires. They threw $30 million at their lawyers to create a pile of paperwork, hoping that Justin would run out of cash and be forced to surrender the movie to them. They thought they could buy their way to victory if they spent enough money, as the truth would not matter anymore. But they were wrong. The judge did not care about their Hollywood status and solely cared about the evidence. And sadly, there was no evidence that supported Blake.
There's no proof, and they wouldn't stand up to trial, which is why the judge threw them away. A waste of everyone's.
Blake Lively's team eventually realized they were totally cooked. Her lawyers reviewed those records, and they knew if this went to a full trial, Adam would take the witness stand under oath and tell the jury everything in court. And because of this fear, Blake's team came crawling in to drop all of their remaining claims for absolutely nothing. They left away without recovering a single dollar in damages.
Blake finally admitted defeat and, staunched the bleeding and just crawled back in. Because they settled for nothing.
After spending around $30 million on attorneys, they got nothing. On the other side, Justin was completely prepared to testify. He was ready to defeat them in front of a jury, but he chose peace over revenge. He accepted the settlement because the terms allowed him to walk away free from a non-disclosure agreement. This is the most important detail of the entire legal battle. Blake Lively's team desperately wanted an NDA to lock away the secrets of what they did on that set. They wanted to buy Justin's silence, but because they had no leverage left, Justin refused to be silenced. He got his freedom to tell his story, and he protected his wife and family from being dragged through months of a widely publicized media cycle in a courtroom. Well, that's exactly how you handle a mess created by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. You do not let them buy your truth. Adam Monshine provided a metaphor that perfectly explains Blake's entire existence in the public view.
Living in front of the camera for so long, like she has, and you curate this, you're more PR than you are a person at that point.
He is discussing Blake's ongoing high-profile PR appearances after losing the lawsuit. She immediately appeared up at the Met Gala. She attended to the opening of a Fendi event, smiling for the cameras. Adam compares this public image to a beautifully crafted Macy's Christmas window display. If you stand on the street and look at it, it is spectacular on the surface. It looks perfect from far away. But here is the thing about those windows. If you break the glass and look behind the mannequins, it is completely empty on the inside. There is no soul. It is just a highly fake presentation designed to make people look at the surface and never ask what is inside.
There's much in there. I think it's a lot of image. And I think that's the hope, is to try to present and craft and curate. And so it's expected. So that's why I said eye roll.
So examine that empty window to the true core and integrity of Justin Baldoni. Having known him for 20 long years, Adam unpacks Justin's real history of subtle philanthropy. Long before he was a famous director, Justin used to spend his early birthdays assembling meal bags for the unhoused. He did not do this with a film crew following him around. He did not post it on online media for likes and reactions. He just did it because his heart told him to. That is the difference right there.
His birthdays spent making sandwiches for the homeless without any fanfare, without any Instagramming, without any attention.
This is not a PR stunt. This is a man's genuine soul appearing up in the world. But the sad thing is Adam's shine also showed how this entire situation hurt Justin's heart.
Heard him be really hurt. He's someone who's incredibly hurt by her. He doesn't know why she would do this.
The bodily toll of the lawsuit left him ill with a strong cold. The body holds the score, and his body is exhausted from battling off a $30 million machine that was trying to destroy his career. Adam pointed out that while Justin feels great relief over the court victory, he knows they have endless PR resources, endless money, and endless spite. He is anxious about what they might try to plan next from the shadows.
What the most powerful people in Hollywood are going to do with their endless amounts of resources and influence, and how they're going to attempt to use their...
But here's the fact that shows exactly who Justin is as a man. After everything they did to him, the mocking texts, yelling ambushes, false fat shaming, claims about the birthing room, $30 million legal costs designed to put him into submission, Adam clarifies one final thing. Justin does not dislike Blake.
Never heard him say, I hate...
Justin had gone into this film sincerely, wanting to be her friend. He opened himself up to a potential genuine friendship on set, but his vulnerability was treated like blood in the water by a mean girl elite circle that chose to take advantage of him. Well, what do you folks think? Do you believe Blake Lively is really panicking as these secrets continue to come out? Or do you think she still has enough money to move her way out of this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments.